One of the ultimate truths on the healing journey is that healing takes place in reality, not so much in the mind. Some teachers call reality the here and now or the present. The Daoists call it the continuum. Whatever you call it, it doesn't really matter. But the truth is that you're gonna have to engage with it on a very deep level if you want to feel better. This video, the second gate of healing, is about reality and aliveness in the Gates of Healing series on this channel. For this series, on the first of every month, I release a new gate, a new understanding of healing that we dive into for that month. So if you're interested, join along this journey. So let's start to get a taste for what it means to be in reality. Surely for at least 2 seconds, you can quiet your thinking mind. There are infinite ways that you can do this, but a really simple way is to just look at an object in the room you're in right now, or if you're outside, just pick something to look at. Look at this object for what it is, as if you've never seen it before. And instead of using your conceptual mind to say, hey, this right here, what I have is a salt lamp, or that is a chair, take that, any understanding or concept you have out of it, and just look at the object for what it is and be curious about the textures and the colors and the shapes, as if you were a baby. So pre-concept, pre-thought, pre-understanding, can you take this object in for what it really is? And as you look at your object, look at it as if it's coming into you. Now, as you do this exercise, notice, does your thinking pause even for at least a few seconds? If it does, you just experienced presence or reality. You see, our mind is a place that is very concerned with our stuff, with our guilt or our shame, with our concerns or our wishes or desires, with our self-importance and our importance in the world, or our self-deprecation, with how we are perceived or how we wish to be perceived, with right and wrong. But you may very well notice that when you are present and when you are in reality, none of that stuff exists. And if you don't believe me, try the exercise again, try it a few times throughout the day. And if you're really able to come into presence and have that thinking mind calm down or stop, you will notice that none of that is there. Obviously, as soon as the presence goes away, then all of that stuff comes back. This is why we chase experiences that whip us into presence, like going to a concert, a fitness or a yoga class, outdoor adventures or parties or drugs or alcohol. Presence feels good because everything else drips away. And when your stuff disappears into presence, the unfortunate thing is it doesn't mean it's gone forever. That would be freaking awesome, but unfortunately, that's just the beginning. However, the more that you engage with reality, if you do it many times in a day, if you do it many days in a row, then this craziness in your mind really starts to calm down. So the less that your mind has an opportunity to come in and say all of this crazy stuff. And if you make it a habit in your life to engage with presence and reality, then your ability to do so gets stronger and stronger. And your mind and all of this stuff that's happening in the mind gets weaker and weaker. Now, it is not necessarily that thoughts aren't real. Actually, the fact is that they have a lot of power over us. But it's just that if you are living in thought, then you are not very much living in reality. You see, thoughts take us away from reality. Again, notice the times in your life when you can be thinking so deeply, so lost in thought, and then you come across a sunset or a water flowing or the breeze of the wind in the trees, and all of a sudden that's all there is. Your mind settles and you're simply just here in this moment with nature. These moments feel like you can breathe again, and they often take us off guard. There's this little book that I like, it's called Toad Talk. And in this book, the author, or the toad, explains reality. And I really like it, so I'm gonna share it here. So the toad presents the idea, is Idaho real? And he says, well, surely, yes, it is. But the thing is that if humans and their thoughts suddenly were to disappear, Idaho would go too. If you remove the thought, then Idaho is not real. It is imaginary borders that we've drawn up using our thought and creation. All of this being in our heads. So the concept Idaho is not real, but the land, the trees, the water, the mountains, all of that would still be there. That which is still there when the thoughts are gone, that is reality. So Idaho, the concept, the thought, doesn't really exist, but the land, the earth, the trees, the rocks, the mountains, this is always going to be present. Okay, so how does being in reality help us heal? First, it removes us from the deep ruts in our mind that reinforce all of this negativity in our lives. We don't realize it, but these words and ideals and concepts in our minds are super powerful. If we have core beliefs that we're worthless, or if we have shame or guilt and we believe we should have shame or guilt, if we have fear or dissatisfaction that's constantly running the show, then we are forever drowning in our stuff. And when we are drowning in it, we cannot see it. If we are immersed in it, there's no way to have the understanding of what it is. It's like a fish that's swimming in water. It has no clue that it's swimming in water, the same way that we're swimming in air. If we didn't have science to tell us, we might not know that we're swimming in air. But when we come into reality, we come up for air and we experience something different, something fresh and pure. It's like sipping fine wine after years of drinking stagnant water. From this vantage point, we not only feel better, but we're able to see those nasty patterns and thoughts and this craziness inside of our head better. And no longer drowning in the thoughts, we have a newfound clarity of what's really going on. And what's really going on is that there's this crazy person inside of our head that's judging everything that we do. And it's wanting to fulfill its own desires of being accepted and being valued. And if you really sit with this, like, how crazy is it that we, or you can say someone inside of our head, or you could say yourself, whatever, there's someone in there that is constantly basically like calling us names, putting us down, telling us we're worthless, making us feel constant guilt or shame or whatever, that there's these thoughts that are constantly coming up that are bringing us down. So this is why it's very important to practice coming into presence, to being in reality, because when we're in reality, we can see all of that. We've come up for air. We have a higher vantage point on our mind, and we can watch when that crazy stuff comes in, and we can actually have a little bit of power. The more we see it, the more we ultimately can do something about it, and we can put a stop to the madness and treat ourselves with dignity. Now, the second way reality helps us heal is by getting us in touch with our intuition. Being in thoughtland is not really us. My thoughtland is not really me. It's just all of my insecurities and inhibitions, my beliefs and my rules and my understandings of what's right and wrong. It is everything I've learned of how to fit into society and to be accepted and make myself valuable in other people's eyes. But the real you, your gemstone or your soul or your self, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't care about any of that. This is who you are and what you are at your very core. And that part of you is actually happy in reality. That part of you cares about love, family, friendship, connection, soul work, joy, and pleasure. And some might say that this part of you has a mission in this world. And so by being in reality, you get in better touch with this intuition because you've let all of this stuff calm down, and now other stuff is allowed to speak. And this intuition, it knows how to heal. It wants you to be the best you could possibly be. And here's the thing, in getting to that goal, you must heal. So it will take you through the necessary steps to healing. This is your body's intuition knowing what it needs to do and us getting out of the way. So that's just it. The more that you're in reality, the more healing you will uncover and experience because you must. This process of coming into reality is called waking up. You are waking up to what is always around you and what has always been around you. But because you have been stuck in thought forms, you have never been able to see it. When you begin to see it, when you begin to experience reality, a whole lot can happen. It's a mix of things from peace to overwhelming to joy to pain. And all of it is good. Waking up involves this piece that is very important to the process. I call this piece aliveness. Prior to waking up, we are numb to life. We have shut down much of our feeling process that allows us to actually feel fully alive. Later in this Gates of Healing series, we will talk more about this numbing and how it comes to be and why it comes to be. As we come into reality, we experience something really special. It's this aliveness that comes into us. This aliveness is like realizing you were asleep for so long and all of a sudden you're actually feeling again. You feel sensation again. You feel wind on your skin. You feel raindrops on your head, the sand between your toes. You feel the power in a sunset. You feel the force of a thunderstorm. But not only that, on the outside, you begin to feel emotion again. You feel joy and ecstasis, but you also feel grief and pain. Aliveness is waking up to your senses and your internal world, stuff that has been shut down for a very long time. Aliveness, whether positive or negative, is good and it feels good. Aliveness is pleasurable once you understand that whatever the heck it is that you're feeling is good, and it is of the highest good that you are feeling these things. Even the aliveness that hurts, the hurt is good, because being numb and deadened is no way to live. It is better to feel grief than to not feel at all. You see, the way that aliveness heals is because we must feel what is real inside of us, the reality inside of us, in order to heal. The more we come into contact with senses and tensions and feelings and emotions, the more that we're able to let go and to free ourselves. We are going to talk more about aliveness in the coming volumes in this gate of reality and aliveness. And hopefully as we go, we develop a really good understanding of why we must practice coming into reality and why this is a fundamental layer of healing for anyone who wants to go through this process of letting things go, feeling better, coming back to life, whatever it is for you, whatever type of healing you're after. Thank you so much for watching this video. I have links below to Substack, to work with me one-on-one. I do somatic work. I help people find this real stuff inside and let go of stuff in the way. So thanks. I'll see you in the next video.